Hello, Pihowa Network. Welcome back to another episode where we delve into the post-independence history of African countries. I am your host, Lilian Wambura. Today, we are exploring the fascinating and complex history of Ethiopia, often referred to as the land of origins. This nickname comes from Ethiopia's rich history as one of the world's oldest nations and the birthplace of coffee and ancient civilization. Let's embark on this historical journey together. Ethiopia is a country in the Horn of Africa. Neighboring countries are Eritrea to the north, Djibouti to the northeast, Somalia to the east, Kenya to the south, South Sudan to the west, and Sudan to the northwest. Ethiopia is one of the oldest nations in the world where Christianity arrived in the 4th century. By the mid-5th century, it was spreading under the leadership of the Coptic Church. After the founding of Islam, Ethiopia, a Christian nation, was isolated, leading to decline. This isolation ended in the mid-19th century. Emperor Menelik II was the ruler when the scramble of Africa was taking place at the end of the 19th century. Menelik signed the Treaty of Wuchale with the Italians in May 1889, which granted Eritrea to Italy. Later, in March 1896, an Italian invasion was defeated at the Battle of Adwa. In October the same year, Menelik and the Italians signed the Treaty of Addis Ababa, in which Ethiopia recognized Italian possession of Eritrea, while Italy respected Ethiopian sovereignty. In the decade that followed, the emperor expanded Ethiopian territory, defining the current borders. He developed schools, hospitals, and infrastructure. He died in 1913 and was succeeded by Lige Yasu. Yasu was soon deposed and Empress Zauditu took over, with Rastafari serving as her regent. As Zauditu's regent, Tafari helped develop a professional government service and led the country to the League of Nations in 1923. He also abolished slavery in Ethiopia. Zauditu died in 1930 and Tafari became emperor as Haile Selassie I. In 1935, Italy yet again invaded Ethiopia and subdued it. The emperor went to exile in May 1936. Until 1941, Ethiopia became part of Italian East Africa. During that period, Italy joined World War II and the United Kingdom threw their weight behind Haile Selassie. British troops liberated Ethiopia from Italy in 1941 and the emperor was reinstated. Eritrea formed a federation with Ethiopia until 1962 when it became a province. Haile Selassie's status in Africa was raised where in 1963 he helped found the Organization of African Unity, OAU. The independence of neighboring Somalia in 1960 inspired Somali nationalism in the Ogaden region of Ethiopia. Rebellion started in 1963 and gained support from the Republic of Somalia. This led to a proxy Cold War conflict, with Ethiopia getting support from the Western countries and Somalia gaining from the Eastern Bloc. Eritrean nationalists had also launched armed struggle in 1961 with support from Arab countries. The University of Addis Ababa had meanwhile produced a radical student movement which was anti-imperialism. These Marxist-oriented students were able to question some of the contentious issues such as property rights, ethnicity, and marginalization. They supported the right to secede, which resonated with the Eritrean struggle. This movement influenced the formation of the Eritrean People's Front, EPLF. The EPLF worked with Ethiopian rebel groups of similar ideology. Growing anti-imperial sentiments led by the Ethiopian communist movement with support from the Soviet Union sustained civil unrest in the 1970s. Various factors such as government failure to effect political and economic reforms fomented the unrest. there was also rising inflation, corruption, and a devastating famine which had been concealed from the outside world. Ethiopian military ultimately sided with the public, leading to 1974 coup against the monarchy. A power vacuum loomed due to differences amongst the military leadership until Mengistu Haile Mariam took over in 1977. As chaos reigned in Addis Ababa, Eritrea and Ogaden nationalist groups made progress. The EPLF stamped its authority over most of Eritrea while Somali forces marched into Ethiopia in 1977, leading to Ogaden War. The Soviet Union and Cuba provided the nascent Ethiopian regime with massive support in terms of ammunition and personnel. By mid-1978, the two battle fronts had been contained. After subduing the major challenges, the government started dealing with internal disgruntlement. Dissidents were tortured and killed, and communism adopted as the official ideology. The Workers' Party of Ethiopia was established. The country was renamed People's Democratic Republic of Ethiopia in 1987. A major setback was the fall of the Soviet Union, which had supported Mengistu. In 1989, Tigrayan People's Liberation Front (TPLF) joined other movements to form Ethiopian People's Revolutionary Democratic Front (EPRDF). The EPRDF seized Addis Ababa in May 1991 and Mengistu fled the country. A transitional government was formed in July 1991, but some of the constituent members withdrew the following year. Using the right to secede, Eritreans chose independence in a national referendum. A parliamentary republic was established in 1994 under a new constitution, leading to multi-party elections in 1995. EPRDF won and Meles Zenawi became the first Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. Zenawi died in 2012 and was succeeded by Haile Mariam Desalegn. In April 2018, Abiy Ahmed took over as Prime Minister with Sahel Work Zewde as first woman president. Ahmed met Afwerki of Eritrea, ending a 20-year state of war between Ethiopia and Eritrea. He also signed ceasefire with internal rebel groups. For these efforts, he was awarded Nobel Prize of Peace 2019. In a bid to expand freedom, he removed media censorship and released political prisoners. Abiy dissolved the EPRDF and replaced it with Prosperity Party. The party went ahead to win the June 2021 election. Throughout its age-old existence, Ethiopia exemplifies resilience in preserving her independence. It gave help to liberation movements in Africa and was a founder member of the Organization of African Unity, which is now the African Union (AU) since 2001. The AU is headquartered in Addis Ababa. That is a brief overview of Ethiopia's history, starting from a monarchy into a communist state. The country is now a modern democracy. Join us next time as we explore another African nation's history. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the PIHOA network. Until next time, stay curious. Thank you.